What's up, y'all? What's up? And once again, yeah, I'm having technical difficulties, and you know, in the industry, you got to make do what you can do and stuff like that. But I'm always being innovative and finding different ways on how to keep the show going, even when technology decides to have a hissy fit. So we still gonna keep it going. We still gonna keep it lively. We're gonna still keep it popping. So today we have a special guest. We have a person that's gonna be talking about some real positive things. Bringing to you to this, no, bringing to the show right now, Mr. Anthony Brown, right here to the T Corner, y'all. And here we go. And let's pray that the phone does not fall down. Okay, there we go. All right, we got him in, y'all. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Yay. You know what? When like the old Isaac Newton saying, "What could go wrong will go wrong," but hey, I got a backup plan.
That's cool. That's cool. I believe that everything's meant to be. There's a reason for everything. We just got to go with the flow and get peace with it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And the old folks used to say, the devil ain't gonna stop me today. So oh, there we go. There we go. All right. See, I caught it before it fell, y'all. I caught it before it fell. Okay, we gonna fix it up like that. Oh, now we back on schedule. See, stuff like that.
That's right.
See, yeah. He ain't gonna catch me off guard today. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, first of all, welcome to the show.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, what got you um to 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 do what you doing, man?
Well, a little short history. I come from a less than favorable childhood. I was raised in the '60s, spirit of rod, spoiled child. Went through what some today would call abuse. I just consider it. My mom used the tools she had to raise the kids that we was. You know,
Exactly.
and I went through that, and being grown at the age of 14, I decided I'm gonna take it upon myself to just run away from home and deal with life on that level. And when you don't have any skills or anything, you end up homeless and addicted to drugs and then out of prison and all of that. So I went through that and I came through it some 23 years later, and now I went to school, got my life in order, became a nurse, a teacher, an author. And so where I'm at is I want to get the message out that no matter where you come from, you can succeed if you want to.
Mhm. Amen. Amen. That's a beautiful message, man. That's a beautiful message. And I know in that time period, hey, like it wasn't like how it is now. You got resources and stuff like that. And back then, because I have some parents that was born in the '50s, so they told me about some of the stuff that they got whooped with, and in today's time, yeah, that would be considered child abuse now.
Yeah.
but but back then, it was like what they had to keep kids from going down the road that they saw coming like a mile away. And some parents was like, yo, I'm thankful that you know that they was there. What did they actually did they actually have it all? No, they didn't have it all. Could they learn something from our generation? Yeah, they could, but they used the tools with what they had, and just like how you said. And but you know what, I'm thankful for that older generation, because that older generation even raised the generation in the '80s, which that's where I come from. You know, I was born in the '80s, so yeah, I still got some of that generation, that old school generation love. Like, yo, okay, you got one more time, like, and yeah, so I understand where they was coming from, but you know, hey, we remember, like for me, I remember the talks with my grandmothers and my granddads and stuff like that, and did not know that it would be beneficial to me in today's time, but some of their wisdom was actually good for today's time. But you had to listen to them and stuff and be able to, you know, comprehend what they were saying and stuff. Because yeah, they said it with how was that saying? They shot from the hip, and who, and they knew exactly who they was trying to hit. You know what I'm saying? So they just knew how to give it to you with no chaser. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. I understand about that old school generation.
Yeah, it's fascinating because some of the wisdom, because I never knew my father. I mean, I didn't discover his name until I was 15 years old and got my own birth certificate. And
Yeah.
so I was raised with a single mom, and there was four of us, and she had to go to work. She wanted to make sure that we ate and we had a roof over our head. And see,
Hmm.
when you're young, you don't understand that. When they tell you, hey, you need to stay home to keep the house safe, you're thinking, I'm being punished. And
Hmm.
so that was my mindset. And so going through that, and then when she leaves, we'd leave, and she'd come back, and there'd be another problem she had to deal with. So that put more stress and pressure on her. But as a 14-year-old, it's like, well, why are you against me? And so and again, the beatings, yeah, they would call it definitely child abuse, but that's all she knew. When you're by yourself and you're dealing with all of these issues, because I didn't. It's interesting how you don't realize life has issues to be dealt with until you become an adult.
Hmm.
When they say, hey,
All facts.
yeah, you need to go to work. Well, why? Because you need to have electricity.
Yeah.
When you're a little kid, you take that for granted. Well, the lights is going to be on, but you don't realize somebody has to pay those bills.
Yeah.
But now,
Exactly.
since I'm an adult, it's like there's nothing free in this world. Ain't nobody going to give me nothing. So I need to get out
Hmm.
there and work.
Yeah.
And I had to learn somewhat the hard way that work and hustling is two different things.
Hmm.
And I tried hustling for 23 years, and the only thing that got me was a few prison sentences and being homeless and unemployed. But then, you know, I finally got it together, got my mind clear, and started going to school and realized work is more than just making money. It gives you a sense
Hmm.
of purpose. And so I'm blessed and fortunate to become a nurse to be able to, to be of service. But I had to go through life's experience. Instead of listening to what my mom tried to tell me, I had to find out for myself. And I remember she had this old saying, a hard head will make a soft behind.
You
And
know
so,
what? I got told that saying so many times, and that generation knew how. No, they knew exactly what they were saying. Because my dad, that was his favorite. That's my dad's favorite saying right there. He would say even to my niece and my nephew sometimes, like when they get out of line, be like, "Okay, all right. Remember, a hard head make a soft behind now." And they know
mhm,
what that means. That means, okay, whatever they doing, they better stop. You know what I'm saying?
right,
But
right.
when you get older, you start realizing if you don't listen to the wisdom, the choices you make will make a soft behind. Because now life is about to whoop you. And
Hmm.
my dad used to always say, "Hey, look here, son. I rather, I rather, I rather I whoop you than life whoop you. That's all. That's a whole different kind of whooping that you do not want to feel."
Hmm. Hmm.
So, so that's his way of explaining to me, yo, why he used to always tell me. a hard head makes a soft behind.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
when I
and
got
it's
yeah,
huh?
so when I got older, I understood that. I was like this, okay, I better not go that way. Okay, you gonna do what? No, I think I'm gonna stay home, bro. No, yeah, y'all good, y'all good. Because I
Hmm.
was able to see what my dad was seeing and be like, yo, all right. Or, what my mom was seeing, because my mom, she used the same saying too. They both grew up in that same era, so I got a double dose of it. So, and yeah, my butt took a lot of stings.
Yeah. And it's fascinating how again when I was younger I thought, well, I knew better than them, and you don't realize, and my mom would tell me you can't do that because I did the same thing. It's like, well, no, you didn't. I'm unique. You ain't done none of this. And it's like, okay. Then she just
Yeah,
sit back and go, okay, wait for it. Just wait for it.
yeah,
And that was some of the things they always say. Hindsight is 2020. You know,
yeah,
and now that I'm an adult, I can look back and reflect and go, you know what, they were right. And if I would have listened, I could have saved myself 20 years of pain and misery. You
yeah.
know, but so parents
And
are they they know, but again, when you're young, you think you know everything. You think you're indestructible, and it's like, man, that's sometimes the best lessons are learned the easy way.
yes, indeed. But also I had a grandmother that set me down. She said, "Look at here. Everybody walks their own path. Even though we may could warn you, you gonna have to walk your own path. It's gonna be a whole lot of fire. It's gonna be a whole lot of pain. It's gonna be some struggles here and there. But if you remember our teaching, you be okay."
Mm,
And my folks don't even know that I that she told me that. I'm like, yo, because she saw something inside of me that she was like, yo, come here for a minute. I need to teach you some stuff. And it wasn't cooking. It wasn't that. It was wisdom, and stuff like. And so when I ever approached a situation, I remember what my dad taught me, my mom taught me, or if it's something real serious, what grandma taught me. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So I understand what you're talking about, man. And we often look at our downfalls as well, I should have learned on this end. But sometimes our downfalls is our most triumphant moments because now we could be able to teach the next generation. Okay, oh, you think you bad? No, no, bro. Look, you don't want to go down this road. I don't went down this road. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So we need people. We need people like you that went down that road to be able to hold up that stop sign. Like, this ain't the road for you. Keep going straight. But I want to. You ain't going that way. Straight.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's why I wrote the book, and I'm out in public because you know a lot of times people will think, well, it's not going to happen to me, you know, and
Yeah.
no matter how you slice it, 1 plus 1 is always going to be 2. I don't
Come
care how
on.
you try to candy code it. You know, I had to learn that until I start because I've been in and out of prison most of the '90s, and
Hmm.
in the beginning I'm like, okay, it ain't gonna happen to me. Then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I'm in it, might as well adjust to it. Then I got to the point where it's not that bad, it's acceptable, you know. And I had that mindset, and yeah, I understood that you have to adapt and adjust to whatever situation you're put in because you can do that as a human being, but is it necessary? And
Hmm.
I didn't realize that, like I said, I've been in and out most of the '90s, It's 2020 now. I didn't realize that that record is going to have an impact on what I do today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fortunate that I've been living this new lifestyle, for the past 23 years. And so I've
Mm-hmm.
jumped through a lot of different hurdles to overcome what my past is. But when you're starting out fresh and you just get released from jail or you don't have any good history, you're gonna have to deal with that. And sometimes it can get devastating, sometimes it can get depressing. I can't find a job, nobody's gonna believe me, but always remember, just keep moving forward because your past eventually is going to be distant. And
Come
so,
on now.
and I put that out there because as I was going through my journey, I'm a nurse, and I've been to
Yeah.
jail, unfortunately, for drug possession because I'm a recovering addict, and all of that stuff. And I've been to jail for drug possessions and everything that goes with it, transporting, sales, yada yada yada. And now I'm a nurse, and a lot of people would say, well, there's no way you with felonies can be able to be a nurse. Well, no, there is a way. And I talk to a lot of people and I hear them with a defeated attitude. Why even try if I'm not going to succeed? Well, how do you know? How do
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I encourage people that you can accomplish and acquire a lot of things. It's not going to be easy because you're not starting on an even slate. You're not starting at zero with everybody. You're on a negative scale. You got to minus something,
Mm-hmm.
but
So
that's
you're gonna
okay.
have to work extra harder.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Put in the extra hard work and keep your eye on the prize, because I mean, I'm a firm believer, man. I had an eighth grade education when I first got started, and I call it my new life, because I was drinking and drugging from 12 to 37. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and not just teetotaling either. And if I could put it in my body any way possible to change how I felt emotionally, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got conditioned to believe that that was the way to live. Now, as a grown man at 37, it's it's like, what am I supposed to do? Society don't see a 37-year-old as a little kid acting childish. What they see is a grown man. Period.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, I'm a grown man with a 14-year-old mentality. There's
Mm-hmm.
conflict in that, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
yet, it's like, how am I going to live a grown man's lifestyle? How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to even get a job with an eighth grade education?
Yeah.
But one my solution or my experience, just one thing at
Mm-hmm.
a time. You know, get your
Come on now.
GED if you don't have it. Go to a community college if you have to. And okay, yeah, some of the things are going to be hard. I failed statistics three times one
Mm.
class, but I told myself I'm gonna pass this class. I just kept going back to the same teacher because I already knew
Mm-hmm.
what he was thinking. You know, if I got 20% right the first time, the next time I got 40% right. And
Mm-hmm.
finally I ended up passing that class. And so yeah, it's work. It is work. But again, I come back to life as a 37-year-old. Ain't nobody gonna hand me nothing, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And if they handed it to you, there may not be no strings attached, but is it gonna be 100% quality?
Mm.
I mean,
Yes,
I don't
indeed.
mind hand me downs, but I like a new pair of shoes every now and again.
Come on now. Come
you
on.
know. And so I put the work in. I went to school, and I had to get myself together. Not just mentally, but emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had the emotional mindset of a 14-year-old. Oh, my feelings got hurt. It's like, what are you crying for? You're 37 years old. You know, okay. What am I supposed to do? Well, you figure it out. Okay, I'm gonna figure it out. Because I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. Cause I've seen other people have stuff. I've seen people with cars and jobs and houses, careers. And there's no sense of me sitting around hating. Because what is that gonna do? I'm gonna get mad at you because you got something, but I'm not doing nothing to get it. How long am I gonna stay mad?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I put the work in, and next thing you know, I elevate my environment. Instead of hanging out with people not doing anything, I started associating with people who was of the same mindset. They wanted to get something done. They wanted to achieve something. And so I just
Mm-hmm.
followed that because I'm a firm believer. that if you hang out in a barber shop, you're going to get a haircut.
Come on now.
You know, um, my
And you're
mom
gonna
used to
get some
say,
knowledge too.
my mom used to say, if you sleep with dogs, you're going to get fleas. It's like, oh,
I
okay.
heard that saying too.
And so I started hanging out with people that had the same mindset. Now, mind you, you also get to see who your friends are too, because a real friend will say, okay, you're coming up, I'm gonna support you. Those that go, hey, you coming up, you're messing up. It's like, man, look, I appreciate your opinion, but I got to go.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
you know, I I don't mind eating bologna, but I want a steak every now and again.
Come on.
And that steaks cost money. And how do you get money? You got to go to work. You know,
Exactly.
and so I developed that mindset and I put the work in. And now, man, look, and it ain't like I'm bragging or boasting. I'm grateful and I feel blessed because
Yeah.
it is work and it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. And
You know
and so,
what?
huh?
I see it this way. I see it this way. It's not bragging. It's not boasting. You just bless on the progress.
Mhm.
We still going through the progress, but you just thanking God for the progress that you see with your own eyes. And most people don't actually understand that. They call it boasting, they call it bragging. But I'm like this, yo, if you haven't walked in my shoes, if you haven't walked in my path, then you would not understand my praise.
Mm.
You would not understand why I wake up every morning and say, thank you, Lord, or thank you to whoever, you may praise, thank the universe, you know what? But people won't understand another person's walk or another person's stance or another person's understanding if they haven't walked in that person's shoes. So I don't see it as bragging, brother. I see it as you saying, you know what, I'm thankful for the progress, for everything that I went through, everything that I've seen, everything I have overcame, and I'm still standing. So salute to you, man, for one thing.
All right, well, thank you. You said something that rang really deep in me. Like when you wake up in the morning, you give thanks, because I hit my knees before I hit my feet every day. You know,
Hmm.
I roll out of bed, and the least I can do is go, you know what, God, thank you, I'm alive. You know,
Hmm.
and I developed this attitude of gratitude that I'm grateful for everything. Because I have had the experience of my only meal came out of a dumpster. I have had the experience of wearing the same clothes over and over again. You know,
Hmm.
I have had the experience of having my freedom. Well, I can't say my freedom was taken away. I gave my freedom away because I'm the one that chose to break the law. You know,
Hmm.
I had that experience, and when I wake up in my room and I open my eyes and I realize, man, that's a nice bed you get to sleep on. That's a nice, comfortable comforter you got. Man, I'm grateful I got batteries for my remote control.
Yeah.
I'm grateful I got teeth. I'm grateful I got running water. And so I got this attitude of gratitude. And even before I leave my bedroom, I'm already winning. You know,
Hmm.
and you mentioned God because that is my guidance, and having the opportunity and having the mindset of being able to accomplish things, even if it's something small, like making up my bed. I make up my bed in the morning because that means I got something accomplished already. you know and I walk through the day like that, and I've discovered that when you appreciate things, somehow other things come that you can appreciate too.
Hmm.
And I'm just I mean, to be honest, it's funny, Terrence. When I wrote that book, I'm from Park Bench to Park Avenue. A little plug for myself. When I
Yeah.
when I wrote that book, I thought that, okay, I'm just going to write an autobiography. I'm going to show it to a few friends. maybe give out a few copies and go, okay, that's well and done. I didn't realize God had another plan for that book, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And here it is 2 years later, I'm sitting on a podcast with you, discussing how all of us actually can benefit life by appreciating life,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
I didn't know God had blessed me or he was going to bless me. He already blessed me with the fact that I'm sober or I have a roof over my head or that I have this
Mm.
breath of life. But I didn't understand or I didn't know that he had these other things in store, like my education. And so I think it's important that other people realize, when we get caught up in the craziness of life, sometimes the small things that we got mean a lot, like you could breathe or you could see, you
Mhm.
know, things we take for granted. And I just want to get out there and tell people, man, life is good. You know,
Come on.
I come to realize that also we have a limited amount of time of life too. When we're born, eventually we're going to die. We got an expiration date. Now, what are you going to do at that time that you have? That's also important as well. And I just try to invest it in as much positivity as I can and continue to move forward and enjoy this thing.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. And I'm just So you brought up something that I want to discuss in a way,
Okay.
and it's your book from Park Bench to Park Avenue. I just want to say one thing real quickly. Let me just put it out there. The title by itself is poetic already. It sets it off. So you already know when you pick up this book, you're about to read something deep. And I just felt the energy off of it. Like the first time I saw like the cover of it, and I'm like, yo, that's a poem by itself right there, just the cover. Like the arrangement of the words that you use. Yeah, I'm just baffled. That's just deep, man. And I just want to say, give you a standing ovation just on the cover itself. And the inside of the book is more important because it's going to tell people about your journey and stuff like that. And it's going to be inspiring to somebody that's that's going down the same road. But like I said, you got a big red stop sign that's telling them go straight.
Mm.
And we need more people like you out there in the world, like that's saying that to this next generation. Cause let's be honest, if it's not on the streets, it's on the TV screen, it's on the radio, it's at their school, it's at I hate to say it, even some churches, they teaching falsely, some stuff like that. We know it's everywhere, but we need more positive people that's willing to stand on the front lines and be like, okay, look at here, kids. Don't look to your right, don't look to your left, go straight.
Hmm.
And that's what I felt. That's the energy I just felt from your book and stuff. I'm like, yo. So first of all, tell us like like where'd you start at when you where were you at when you first started writing this book? Like, were you on the tail end or were you going through the fire?
I was I was on the tail end, and what's really fascinating when I was out there drinking and using, between I hit it heavy between 1975 until 2001. I mean, heavy. And throughout that journey, I used to always grab a notebook and write my thoughts in it. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're homeless, you don't keep things very long. I mean, you're moving, or the police throwing you in jail, somebody steals it, whatever. But I always had it in my heart. I wanted to write something. I felt that I wanted to write something. And so one day I was sitting around, a few friends suggested, they go, you know what? We hear you talk all the time. Why don't you put that in writing? And that
Mm-hmm.
book, which was really fascinating, that book allowed me to time travel. I went back all the way to the beginning, when I was told I was born with an umbilical cord around my neck. When I went through at the age of 9, me and my sisters finding my mom on the floor getting shot in her head, you know, going through, the beatings and, the drug addiction and being in jail. I got to go back and I got to process a lot of those feelings so I can transmit those feelings onto people. And that book became sort of like therapy for me, and it allowed me to heal and find
Mm-hmm.
closure in a lot of different things. And so that book helped me out a lot as I wanted to help other people. And so um, when I wrote that book, I put it together. It took me about a year and a half. I was just getting interviewed for my job as a teacher, and I had the manuscript. And one of the people that were doing an in-service class, happened to be a publisher, and I told her about my book, and again, I believe in God, and you know, it just worked out, and so then it came out, and I'm like, okay, well, this is nice, because coming from where I come from, where statistically it says I'm not supposed to make it. My background, statistically speaking, is I should not be who I am today.
Come
I,
on.
I shouldn't. I should either be dead or locked up or something really messed up with me mentally. Because I mean, again, when I talk, and in the book it talks about the extent of the drug use that I went through and for how long, and it also shows how powerful God is. You know,
Okay.
And I come to depend and lean on God and believe and have faith and trust. And I turn my life over to that. And all I have to do is just learn how to let go what I think I want and accept what He gives me and appreciate it. Then everything evolves into something far more than I could have ever imagined. If you would have told me 23 years ago, I would be who I am today, I'd be like, nah, yeah, okay, you're right. You know, I'm sitting in the back alley, dirty clothes, drinking wine out of a brown paper bag. I couldn't even dream this way. If you would have said, hey, one day, you're going to be an author, one day you're going to be working with Dr. Drew, or you're going to be discussing things with Tony or Kane, you know, if you would have told me that, I'd be like, okay, sure, uh-huh, just give me another hit.
Yeah.
Now, this is my reality. Now I get to educate people on how to provide health care for other individuals. Now I get to get out and try to be a role model for other people who feel that they can't make it. That wasn't in the cards, but somehow God knew what was going on, and it's really, I smile because all my life I wanted to be a drug dealer, and God made me a nurse, and so now I have a license, you know, to do that, and I think that's humorous. And another thing that happened is and I always look at what the blessings are, and a lot of them you don't see it till after the event. And I was the director of nursing at a psychiatric hospital during this whole COVID epidemic, and dealing in a locked facility with a bunch of people who have COVID and mental health issues could be challenging, you know. But I remember one distinct case where one of our clients was having respiratory problems, and her oxygen level was going down, and so I ran in there and I do what I was trained to do, and my assistant's like, well, you don't have gloves and a mask on. But I didn't care because my job is to try to help that human being,
Mm-hmm.
because the adrenaline's flowing, I'm in the moment. Then afterwards, we saved the lady, and we got her some help, and afterwards I'm sitting with my assistant, and she's like, wasn't you worried about getting COVID? And then it hit me, and I told her, I go, in my past, I ate out of trash cans. In my past, I put so many chemicals in my body, it's pathetic. In my past, I went without bathing. You know, I have an immune system. You think COVID wants to come and mess with this? And then we just laughed and kept on doing our job. And so our past, sometimes we don't realize, can be a valuable asset to our present and our future. But we don't see that we're getting prepared for that, you know. And so I learned how, to try to focus on being unselfish and being of service to other individuals and let God handle the rest. And next thing you know, here I am sitting here with you, man, being blessed with this appearance. And
Yes,
man,
indeed.
God is good
Man, all the time. All the
all the time.
time. Shoot, man. And you said something, and you said something about, going through the trials and stuff and being blessed. And I'm just thinking in my head, like it was I'm trying to remember the saying that no, not just my grandparents would say, but like the mamas of the streets would say, when you in the neighborhood, you had mamas of the streets. And they was the ones that knew all the kids, even if you wasn't, even if you was in another state and you was coming to visit. They knew who you was. They knew who your mama was, who your daddy was. Everybody was, and they always would say like wisdom upon you, and they would pray for you. Like put that cloak and that armor around you, and you didn't even know that people was praying for you, and you just out there just being a kid and stuff. But there was the mamas of the streets that was praying for each and every single last one of the kids because they prayed for their parents and stuff, and and that's the type of energy that we need back in the community. We need more mamas of the streets. You know what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
ones that we like. Look here, boy. If you don't get up, get your butt in that house and get something clothes on or something. They they would literally pick you up off the street, bring you in their house. Then they go shop, get you something, put some new threads on you, then take you over to the work to the work solution. Uh, get you, man. Like, make sure you get a job. Like I, like that old school generation was just built different,
Hmm.
and I wish it would have resonated in today's time. And I mean, we still have some that's still doing that and stuff like that, and like how you doing and stuff, and but we need more because, like I said, like we we are battling something that's deeper than our eyes can see. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
And if you don't have the type of armor that the mamas of the street back in the day was doing for us, because it could have been a whole lot worse and like a whole lot more could have happened. But you had somebody praying for you, you had somebody rooting for you and stuff like that. And we need more people out there in the community doing that. And it's and that like see like hearing your story and stuff like that, it remind me of some people that I that I grew up with and stuff. And you know it's just like, yo, I know God ain't done with them, but they got a lot to learn. But if they just open their eyes and realize, mm, hey, that their whole situation would be different. And I'm blessed, brother, that you saw that gift inside you and you went and you listened to God's purpose on your life. And I'm praying real hard that that this book really not just touch people in the US but around the world. because this is a around the world thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need in the world for real. And keep doing what you're doing, man. So we at the top part of the show where I call it the credentials. The credentials is pretty much where people could come and pick up your book, um, your social media accounts, you know, how they can get in touch with you and stuff, because you doing a good thing. So I'm just gonna step away. The floor is yours. Go right here, brother.
Yeah, okay. Um, Getting a hold of me, you can either go to my website, www.anthonyhowardbrown.com. That's www.anthonyhowardbrown.com. My book, From Park Bench to Park Avenue, is available on Amazon. You can always Google that. You can always just Google me, Anthony Howard Brown. I'm on YouTube. Facebook. Also go under Brown Manor. You can just type in Brown Manor. That's a program that we're starting in Ohio to help transition the homeless people off the streets. And so that's how you can get a hold of me on Instagram and on I think Twitter, where we're caredd.org. That's one of my businesses. If you notice up above my shoulder, there's a blue heart. You can look for that. You'll find me. And so I have many avenues, and just feel free to reach out. And I'm more than happy to share with you my experience, what knowledge I have, because I was taught a long time ago, you have to give it away to keep it. And none of this is mine. This is all God stuff. I just get to play with it while I'm here on earth. And so I'm more than happy to share my wisdom. I'm more than happy to share my time, my experience. And again, you can always get a hold of me at www.anthonyhowardbrown.com. The email's there, the connections to everything is there. Thank you.
All right, y'all. All right. So with that being said, y'all, please go support this brother. Go get the book. Hey, look, I'm feeling very touched right now because, yo, when you feel that type of energy off of a person and you hear their stories, and man, it makes you want to be better. And if you didn't catch nothing from this podcast, from this show, just understand wherever you are in life, you can make it through. All right. And I don't care if you homeless, if you're going through depression. Hey, I just went through a big battle myself, and God brought me back here, and He blessed me in more ways than one. When I tell you, when God says, if you He what He says, your cup will run it over. I mean, like literally over this past couple of days, I just went to two of my groups, asked one question, and it took me till pretty much yesterday to finish answering everybody. And I started answering them back on Thursday. So, and we on Monday. So y'all do the math on that. When I tell you God is in the blessing season, but you gotta listen. So if this podcast hits anybody, just remember you can make it through what you're going through. Don't give up. Don't give in. Keep pushing forward. Keep your head up, and you're gonna make it. Mr. Brown, I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. You are always welcome back on my show for real. Cause I'm trying to keep my composure for real. Cause it's like when you feel that energy, man, and all that you went through, you could have just said, screw the world. The world don't like me. The world don't need me. But y'all hate me and stuff like that. But no, You took your energy and you used it for good. You're using it for a purpose. You're using it for healing. Just keep doing that, brother. All right.
All right, thank you. I feel blessed. Even hearing that, I feel the presence of God um, intensify. And this isn't bragging or boasting. This is my reality. You know, there's
Okay.
a reason why every one of us have an opportunity of crossing paths, even if it's just to hear the word that, you know what, God is still in the miracle business.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is, you don't even have to listen. Just sit still long enough and you'll
Come
feel it.
on now.
You'll feel it. I sure do.
Yes, indeed, man. And look here, brother. Like I said again, you are always welcome back on T Corner. When you write, because I want to see you write another book, because I know you got another book in you. So I'm gonna put that I'm gonna put that blessing already into fruition. I'm like, yo, you got a lot in you. You got a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom in you. You keep on riding, and you'll always have a spot here. Okay.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate
Uh,
that.
so salute to you and to everybody else. Be blessed. Stay strong. One love. Until next time, this is Terence the Spoken King signing out. One love, one dream. All right, y'all. Peace.